Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mentes Despiertan. Today we have another special guest, and this one actually looks like me, or should I say, I look like them. You're about to find out more what I mean about that. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys enjoy this program, and I hope you guys learn something from this. I hope this promotes more peace within one and more happiness within self. So, welcome to Mentes Despiertan. Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, my name is Joe. Prior service, I did about 4 years in the Army. I have studied in Fulton College. I have an associate's degree in arts, and then I got a bachelor's in social work. I've had a lot of jobs, and I've been to many countries, and I've had a lot of lived experiences.
Is the military something that you would recommend for someone to join? And thank you for serving our country. You're one of the 1%.
Well, thank you for your support. And yeah, I would definitely say that you should join. I would recommend it. I'm not saying you're gonna love it. You might not enjoy it, but I think you'll get a lot of it.
Good. And you studied for social work. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so social work. I went to school in Austin. I had changed my major because I had decided, art is more of a hobby. I think social work is more about helping people, and that's what I wanted to do. And I learned a lot. I learned about human development, brain development, core things like the right to self-determination. There's a whole ethos on that. There's a lot. I mean, there's too much I could say. I think you'd have to be a little more specific on that.
Is this a class or a major you would recommend to anyone?
Oh yeah, if you want to help people, yeah. If you want to make a difference with people, you want to advocate, you want to empower, I recommend it. If you want money, I don't.
How do you empower people with that?
How do you empower them? Giving them a voice. Tell them that they can talk, that they can share their feelings, that they're a part of something, that they do matter.
How can people reach out to people like you?
People like me, huh? That's a good question. Well, you could. Usually, there's a social worker in every department, or every system. Digital, healthcare, school system. There should be a social worker. So if you're going to any of these, like a university, you'll find them. You can ask for them. You can look it up online. In my case, yeah, you could reach out to me. I don't mind.
Well, how can they reach out? Is there an email you can give us, or a page?
Yeah, for that one, I'll put it at the end of the conversation.
What can you offer people? Like
me personally,
really specific kind of help. What kind of help can you give them?
Usually, it's a lot you can do, right? So you can provide resources, right? Maybe you're homeless, maybe you're low income, and you don't know what to do. Provide resources, right? Like there's access to it. Providing support, not just literally, but you can tell them, talk to this person, help guide them, right? Show them the website, give them a step-by-step process on how to get there. At least for the school, in my case, right? I talk to kids, right? So I would talk to them. I would give them a place to talk. So it's about mentoring, encouraging. It's really about giving them something to let them know that they do matter.
Do you think that's a problem, that these kids are never expressing themselves, or we don't have anyone to express themselves with?
From what I saw, it was a few of them had trouble expressing themselves, and I think it's because they had no one to talk to. And I understand a parent's role, right? Maybe they're tired from work. Maybe they don't put too much attention. They just say, "Oh, I was cool. What'd you do?" They're not going in depth. And what the difference now is that we have social workers that a kid can have someone to talk to outside of the classroom. And I think the biggest difference is that when I was a kid, I don't recall ever having that kind of thing.
So, is there something or a message you can give to parents that have children that may not be fully involved with their children? What can they do to better involve themselves with their kids to the point where the kids will actually want to express themselves to their parents?
I would just say, talk to them. Don't just ask a generic question. Sit down with them. Spend time with them. Set aside your personal life outside of, like work-wise. Give time for your kids too. It's not just about me. You had kids. Be part of their life, right? I know it could be hard. You could be tired. You might be exhausted from work, but give up time.
How are these kids affected when the parents aren't there?
That's a good question. At least from what I've seen, it's not necessarily that. Part of the job is observing and assessing, right? So you might see why that they don't talk much. So maybe if the parent doesn't talk to them, they don't talk at all. They're shy. Might not be that they're not shy, but they're sheltered. So they're used to not talking to anyone. They're used to not expressing themselves because they don't do that at home. And then a parent might be maybe not aggressive, but outspoken, right? So now they think they can do that, right? Monkey see, monkey do. They see a parent doing not so good things, they'll emulate. They'll think, okay, you know what, that's normal. My mom lets me do it. My dad lets me do it. I can do it too.
How detrimental is it to the kid when they don't actually have involvement with their parents?
Extremely. I think the parents are the foundation, right? It's like a house. The house is built on a foundation. If there's no foundation, the house will crumble. That's like the best analogy I can give. Basically, they should have someone to guide them, right? Someone to support them outside of school. Because at school, yeah, I could help them, right? Anyone can help them. But when they go home, what happens? All that they learned, all that they were taught, might go out the window.
How would the parents put these kids in a program to see someone like you, a social worker?
Well, every school is going to be different, right? I can't speak for all of them. For the most part, you would have to talk to the front office administration, and they'll guide you where to go. There might be a program, there might not be a program. There might be a designated social worker, there might not be, but they should have at least a counselor. For the most part, every school is going to have a counselor, which is the next best thing.
So the first step for any parent would be to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ask.
Have the school get involved with their kids when they're not able to. At least have someone that can be, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And in this kind of line of work, I don't want to say is it beneficial, but do you feel you've made a difference?
Yeah, I definitely do. I've had kids tell me, you make me feel good, and I can see it. I can see the growth. I can see how much more expressive they become, how much more open they are, how much more they want to talk. And even, I don't know if it's has anything to do with academically, but when they do better, they're like, wow, I'm doing so much better. Because in the beginning, you encourage them, you tell them, hey, it's not about getting an A. It's about doing the best that you can do. It's about trying.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you like what you do. Is this something that you see yourself doing for a lifetime?
That's a great question. Maybe. Certainly possible. I think, I don't know if it necessarily means it will be social work. Me personally, what I liked was more of one-on-one, kind of talking, counseling. So maybe I'll go to therapy. I'm not sure.
Let's go back a little bit. Why didn't you re-enlist in the military?
That's a good question. Well, the military isn't for everybody, right? You may like it, you may hate it. I didn't hate it. There was a lot that I did like about it. I liked my job, for example, small arms repair, and I did like going overseas. But that wasn't enough to keep me in. I felt like you do have to sacrifice a lot. Do you really want to be away from your family? In my case, I was a single soldier, so it's different if you're married. And we did go overseas a lot. I spent half a year, which isn't that much really, but it adds up. But in my case, they weren't giving me what I wanted, and I felt that because of that, then I don't want to be with them.
And did you take advantage of the GI Bill that you get when you join the military?
Oh, the benefits, yeah. So definitely use my GI Bill. That's how I got my school paid for, and that's why I kind of also encourage you to join. Why get yourself in debt when you can have the good old Uncle Sam pay for you?
That's a good point. And I know maybe the audience doesn't know, but you and me, we change a lot of ideas. We change a lot of philosophy. Should I say we exchange a lot of things that we learn. From your perspective and my perspective, we see one kind of, I guess, you would be in a way of science, or even science is still a relatively new thing. It was only until 1833 that the term actually came to be science, and it was separated from philosophy. Mm-hmm. And so you have a point of view from science, right? And maybe modern day philosophy, and the way I see things is more from a spiritual point of view. That's what I've been practicing. That's what I've been learning, and we managed to change a lot of things. Kind of how you said, where these kids, where they come from, how it can be detrimental to them when they're not with their parents, and sometimes, from my perspective, is they're put in these conditions to be a certain way to overcome this. Because if they're not in this kind of specific place, or they're not born in this specific area, they won't go through these certain things. But because you have to overcome yourself, you have to overcome your karma, or you could call it paying it off. You're in that place, but it's not a bad thing because you can always get help. You can always change it. Do you think that if you mix modern day philosophy, maybe modern day thinking with the spiritual part, can they coexist, or is it something completely different?
Yeah, I believe they can. You're thinking like maybe social science, right? I guess depending on the degree, ethics, philosophy, whatever it may be. You know, in my case, I think social work was very easy for me to understand, very easy to do, because I practice Buddhism, right? A lot of what the Buddha said really coincides with social work. What we learned, right? Like we learned, for example, attraction, right? Buddha talks about it. We learn about energy. It's talked about in the sciences too. Often we overlook it. We think too much of it, right? Even with philosophy. If you look at the Dharma, any sutras, right? A lot of it you can find in modern science, in modern books, right? Theories, all of that stuff. It's already done. And Buddha's teachings were thousands of years ago. And for me, because I had studied it, I can see what was similar, what resonated. You know, it didn't borrow it from, right? Someone just found their own theory. But if you look even further back, right, during Buddha's time, he already talked about it.
Yeah, some say he's the first psychotherapist, and
Yeah,
his mind.
I agree with that.
How does your faith and your practice coincide with the work that you do?
Yeah, I would say it does coincide, because in Buddhism you're taught to help others, right? To show compassion. Social work, you have to do that as well. You have to be compassionate. You have to hear somebody. You don't just pretend to understand them. You give them time. You give them that power, right? That voice to let themselves be heard. It's about letting go of that ego, right? If I only think of myself, then how can I help my client? If I automatically say, oh, I know what's wrong with them, well, you're already failing them because you're not doing what you practice.
What happens when you lose empathy? I hear that happens to certain people when all they do is help, and they see they're not trying to help themselves.
Yeah, that can happen. There's also compassion fatigue, right? When you're too compassionate, you kind of get over it, right? Same thing with burnout. It's you have to change your mindset. It's what did the Buddha say? He says something, when you're doing it, you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for them. So when you're thinking, oh, look what I did this, I did that, I did this, you have to let go of all that. Again, let go of that ego. You're not supposed to put yourself first, and you might encounter compassion fatigue, right? And I think that's normal when you're helping so many people and there's just one person. You might feel overwhelmed, which is also something that I think would be normal to happen, especially in this overburdened systems that we have in America. But again, you have to look at the big picture. Let go, put them first, and then remember why you're doing it. You're not doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for mankind. You're doing it for the well-being of all people, all sentient beings. Well, when you go like deeper, at least in my case, deeper into the spiritual work.
Have you gone through that? The compassion burnout?
No, I don't think so. I was just tired, right? Because I'm always working. I used at the time when I was going to school, I was going to school, I was doing my internship, and I had a part-time job. So it was 7 days a week, and I have a day off. So I would feel tired, maybe not overwhelmed from helping people, but just from life in general. And I would have to tell myself, hey, it's okay, relax, let it go, you'll be fine. You have to give yourself motivation as well. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't always have someone to help us push through that.
You guys learn, like, I think there's like a chart, the mental wellness chart. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. It's basically like a checklist, right? You look at certain questions, you check on it, you say, oh, what, I'm doing good in that, doing good in that, bad on that. It's to help you out, to see where you're at.
From what I recall, it's like something you start your day off with, right? You start your day off, you wake up and you ask yourself, how do I feel? Can you give us more in depth about that, maybe? Because this could be a good practice for the people listening. And while I don't have a checklist, I do wake up and I do tell myself that I feel good. Of course, I always feel good, even if I don't.
Well, for that, you could look at a blueprint online. Like I said, it's going to be different for everybody. You don't have to do what I do, and it's not like it's a specific. It could be tailored to what you believe in, right? In my case, I tell myself it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a wonderful day. Tomorrow will be a wonderful day too. And then there's other things I've learned that are a little different from that. Like in the military, I learned resiliency, right? It was called. I took a master resiliency class, right? And we did an activity called hunting the good stuff. So you would get 3 things that were good that happened to you that day. It could be anything, right? I had a good meal. you would write it down in a notebook. 3 things every day. And that could help. So there's a lot of different ideas, a lot of different theories, a lot of different, papers you could do on that. It's really endless. It's really what makes you happy, what makes you feel better, what makes you do better.
If you could, well, you can. I mean, do you have a message that you can give to everyone that could be really beneficial to them? Something that helped you along the ways?
Yeah, do your best and be your best. I think that's the biggest one. It's about, it also means doing what you can do. It doesn't mean push yourself to the point you can't do anything. Just know your limitations. Be teachable. Be compassionate. Be willing to learn and willing to help. Being a part of something bigger than just myself.
Sometimes people don't feel like they're part of anything. Is there anything you can tell these kinds of people?
Yeah, and I agree with that. The problem is, again, maybe they haven't had anyone to talk to. Maybe they feel alone because they don't have a friend. They're introvert. There's a lot of things, right? Maybe it could be a generational trauma. It could be people coming from a different culture, different country, and they don't know what to do. They feel lost. They feel alone. They feel like they don't have anyone to talk to. And what do? You have to reach out. You have to have confidence. You have to be brave. You have to be willing to get hurt. You have to be vulnerable.
There's people that are really desperate to be with someone. They want to find a love. They want to find a partner. They want to find a pair. And sometimes they don't see that they're not ready for that. Do you think they should openly, regardless, explore and try to find someone, or should they find themselves first?
Find themselves first. And I've seen that scenario a lot. And again, you have to ask them, where is that coming from? Why do you believe that? I'm not trying to say that they're wrong, but usually there's something behind that, right? You might encounter a girl, at least I have, right? A girl who was interested in me. And in her case, she was looking for, and I'm guessing because I was older, she was looking for a male figure, a father figure. And I let her know, look, you're a beautiful girl, but I know what you're looking for, and I'm not it. You don't need me. You need to find yourself first.
Do you think most people have that kind of problem?
Yeah, especially the younger you are. The younger you are, you're going to be unsure. You might not have anyone, have a mentor or someone to guide you, and you're doing it alone. And when you're doing it alone, it can be scary. And I'm not saying you're trying to look for a shortcut, but it can be looked like that, right? You're like, oh, you know what? I'll just find someone to take care of me. It's okay, step out. But it'd be helpful if people had a support system, someone to help them out. And that's often what I've seen. Not just, I'm not talking about the school, but in general, in my life.
What would be a good, how would I word it? How can you find someone that's healthy for you, or how can you know it's a good time for you?
That's difficult. I mean, you might not ever be ready. You might not ever find that person. That's the reality of it. But you'll only know by trying, right? The only way you can find out is by trying. And I've seen it reminds me of when I talk to kids. I would ask them, do you ever feel like you want to ask something, but you're afraid not to because you're going to be told no? And they all said that's what they felt. So what does that mean? And I would tell them, it's true. You might be told no, but that's okay. It's just a word. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And you'll never know if you never try. And I think that's the biggest obstacle. You might not find that person, or you might find them. But there's only one way to find out, by trying it. And I think you should also do your research.
So
find yourself.
They have fear?
Yeah, usually it's fear. But then again, maybe it could also be they're looking for independence, right? Autonomy. They're looking to be an adult, pretty much, when they're not ready to be an adult. And that's okay. Some people learn that way. Some people don't want to learn that way. Everyone's going to be different.
Good point. And when you go to school, did you look for any other financial aid? Because I know that school can be very costly and not everyone can afford it. How can these people that don't have a good income go to school?
Did I look for scholarships? No. Could I have? Yeah. But to me, it was like a lot of work, and I'm like, nah, the GI Bill got me. But some schools offer transfer credit, or a scholarship for transferring, or for doing good, or sports. So there are other ways, right? But me personally, I can't delve too much into it because I don't know. I didn't do that. I kind of skipped that line. I mean, the best scholarship, I guess, go Army or military.
Go Army. And you recommend people to go to school to continue their education?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna benefit you. Maybe doesn't you don't have to pick something that's gonna be the best job. I think that's what I've seen a lot. You're looking for, oh, this is about money. No, no, find what you want to do. It's not about the money. The money will come if you do the work.
Philosophy is always changing, and it's always changing because we have different interpretations of it nowadays. With modern timing and modern days, we see things from the past in a different light. A different person can see it and interpret it in a different way. And just like I told you recently, it wasn't even until like around the 1830s that it was even a thing. We were separated from science, at least the philosophy, and the Western philosophy is different from the Eastern philosophy and from the Middle East. All kinds of teachings, different means of spreading the same message. But at the end of the day, you have to find peace within yourself, find happiness within yourself, right?
Yes, right. Yeah, the disciplines have changed, right? And that's through every age, every century, every eon, every millennium.
We live in good times. We live in 2025. We have a lot of advantages that other people wouldn't have. Even with all these things that make everything easy, we're still going through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes any difference to have more things, to have easier things, like toilets, restrooms? We have fast food places. We have everything that we need, but people are still suffering. They're still sad. It's still never enough. Can you find a remedy for this?
I don't think I can find a remedy, but I can say that it makes things harder. If you're looking at, during the Buddhist time, everything took time. You to walk anywhere to reach a destination, you got to walk there. It took your time. And like you were saying earlier, right now we have everything in our hand. You could find any information you want immediately. You can order your food. So you become lazy. You become distracted. So that's the difference between now and then. Yeah, you could find distractions back then, but they're nowhere near as limitless or as instantaneous as they are today.
We live in a fast-paced world. How are you able to find balance with all it?
Balance is a good word. I mean, I look at it more as time management. Understand that your day is limited. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be home all day? Are you going to be out all day? Are you going to work all day? Or do you give time for yourself to do things that you want to do? I think that kind of question is too, not necessarily too complex, but it's going to be different for everybody. And I don't think it'd be fair for me to give you what I would do, because no one's going to do the same thing I do.
You would say you have good discipline?
I think I used to have better discipline, but again, after you get out of the military, you kind of you lose that discipline. Not that you can't keep it, but you enjoy life. You enjoy it a lot more. You get the freedom. You taste the freedom. You're like, wow, I can do whatever the hell I want.
What's the importance of having discipline?
It gives you stability. It gives you a purpose. It lets you stay on top of things. And automatically, right? Instead of having to, instead of dreading, I have to do this. No, it's like already, you have the plan already. I'm going to do this.
You have a pretty positive mindset. And what gives you this positive mindset?
That's a good question. I think just being myself. At least in my case, you stop caring about what people think. If I want to be happy, I'll do what needs to be done to be happy. I'm not trying to appease anybody. I don't think, wow, that person thinks bad of me, but if I buy this, they'll think better of me. No, I don't think that way. I don't need anyone's permission to be happy. I don't need their acknowledgement, their validation. I validate myself.
So you put yourself first?
No, not always. I feel like, again, balance. Maybe someone needs help, I'll put them first. I put my happiness first, but if someone needs my help, I'm not saying I'm losing that happiness, but I'm putting them first.
You're doing a selfless act.
Yeah, at least I try to.
You feel good helping people, correct?
I do. I very, very much do.
But is that what motivates you to want to help?
No, I do it because I look at it from a different perspective. I look at it, what if someone did that for me? I'd be happy. So knowing that if I do it for them, they'll be happy. I don't do it out of gratification. I do it because, not just because it's the right thing, but because in doing so, maybe they'll do the same thing for someone else in the future.
True. And we discussed a good amount, and a lot of it has to do with how we think. And at least for you have this mindset. Do you think this mindset is shaped by all the experiences that you've had, being in the military, going to school, going through all these hardships?
Yeah, I do. I think if I were to compare myself to 10 years ago, it's very different. I was more ego driven, more self centered. You have to have those lived experience to really learn and grow and adapt. And of course, talking to people, listening to people, getting different perspectives, getting out of your comfort zone.
What is happiness to you?
Happiness is being free.
Freedom
It's
to,
open to interpretation.
yeah, it's open to interpretation. So a lot of people are looking for happiness, and that's why I asked that. And you've given some ideas what happiness is, and well, at least how you enjoy your life, the things that you do, your work that you do, the cause that you have, and that's a good way to be happy, of course. But some people, it seems that it's never enough.
hmm
Is there something you can tell these kind of people that maybe they're just too ego driven, or maybe they're just not as selfless?
I think it could be, again, what they're going through. In my case, I've lost a lot of things. I've had no money before, so I understand what it is to have nothing. And that's why I can appreciate more of what I have, because I understand and know what it was like when I didn't have it. And there are some people who maybe they were, I don't know, born in a good family, high income family. Maybe they were spoiled as children, whatever it might be. No blame to them, but because of that upbringing, they don't understand, and it might take them losing everything for them to find out that, I don't need all of that.
And we're gonna do something a little different now, and I want you to ask me a question, because we went through different paths, but we still kind of do the same thing. At the end of the day, we help people, we reach out to people, and we try to help people out of their, you can call it misery, or we try to be someone that people can express themselves to and want to be there for people.
Okay, so anything, right? It could be random, or is there a specific category you want?
Whatever you want.
Okay, all right. Well, why didn't you join the military?
I thought about it. I did think about it, but it didn't appeal to me. At the time, I wasn't interested in going to school, so I didn't really care about no GI Bill. And at the time, I didn't really think it was a good means of making money either. Nothing about it was appealing to me. That's all it really is.
Okay, that's fair. Nothing wrong with that. What about now? Would you reconsider it? I'm not saying do it right now, but I'm saying at your age, your current age, from everything you know now.
I would do it, yeah. I feel like it's a little selfish on my part, but definitely that GI Bill sounds more appealing now. Going to school sounds more appealing now. Further educating myself and expanding my mind sounds more appealing now than it did before. And it wouldn't just be that. I think it's a very honorable cause. Not many people are willing to do it. Not many people are willing to do something good for their country. And I look at it like as an honorable thing now.
Well, that's cool. Well, what are since how I know you're not going to do it, why would you ever have not joined the Buddhist path?
Oh, the monastery?
Yeah.
I think I would have found something similar to it if it wasn't Buddhist. I'm sure whatever it is, something has called me, and it's been calling me for a long time to be somewhere where there's some kind of monastery, not a church necessarily, but a temple or monastery, and it's something that it's always, maybe it's been ingrained in me since I was young. That could be it, but I was always looking for it. It was always in the back of my head. So if it wasn't where I'm at now, it would be somewhere else, but something similar.
And how do you remain level-headed? Understand that sometimes you get frustrated too. Obviously, you deal with a lot of people who don't listen, people who don't want to listen, people who don't care, people who want to do their own thing. I mean, is there something? Do you know how to handle that, or are you still working on that?
Both. I have better understanding of it. I have better control over it, and I think I look at it and I tell myself, is it really a reason to be upset? Is it really a reason to be angry? I just try to enjoy the experience. This is all it is. This is an experience, and each and every single individual has this opportunity to have an experience. And it's my experience only. Do I really want to spend it being mad at something or someone? It doesn't sound like a good way to spend my experience. I'd rather have the experience of happiness or joy, or at least look at the positive things that I can, the things that I'm able to. And if someone is causing me trouble, I have to understand that they're in pain. Maybe they don't care, but one day they might care. One day they might remember how I was. So one day they may see how I reacted, and they'll think about that.
Have you ever thought about quitting?
Quitting?
Yeah.
Quitting?
Yeah, quitting. I won't be here anymore.
Many
Like, fuck
times.
all you.
Maybe not that last part, but I felt the need to leave many times, and it's not. It wasn't easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure from the teacher, from the master. It's a lot of pressure from myself, and I think I wasn't ready for that. I didn't understand it. Let's put it that way. I didn't understand why we get so small things. I didn't understand why I was being pressed to do certain things, and now I better understand it. Now I don't see myself doing that anymore. But a lot of it had to do just because I didn't have the understanding. I didn't have the information. Once you have the information, you know exactly why you're there. You know exactly why you need to be there. And anywhere, any place in the world, if you have the right information, you see the benefit of it. You see the positive in it. So I think maybe it was just a lack of information that made me want to quit, and it was the lack of self-love that made me want to quit. Because you give up when you don't. You can maybe a little bit indecisive, but when you're not in the right mindset, you just give up. You don't care.
It's fair. My last question is, what will you do if you were in my position?
I think I would do the same thing. Keep learning. Keep expanding my mind. I think it's fun. Once you really look down and you begin to study things and delve into like the different possibilities, the different ideas that mind has created, and it can be a very fun thing. There's always something to learn. And if it's not through a book, if it's not through a textbook, if it's not through a teacher, it's through your own experience, through your own eyes that you learn something new.
It's pretty good, very insightful, profound. Well, that's all the questions I have.
And I think we did pretty good today. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for talking to me. It was a definitely a good talk, and I hope that this message this information can be of benefit to many. And that's kind of why I wanted you here, because I know that you know a lot. You have a positive mindset, and the way that you have your self-discipline is it's a good example for other people to follow. And as you learn in the military, right? Lead by example. Don't just do as I say, but be the actual example. Lead by example. I think your words are insightful. I think they were very beneficial. You might not be doing the same thing as I do, but at the end of the day, it's still similar.
Well, thank you for having me. And I think, the way I see it is, if I can help someone, if I can teach, then I'm more than happy to do so.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll have you for part 2, possibly part 3, maybe even part 4 if you're willing.
Willing and able.